Hey everyone, welcome to another Lords of War Games and Hobbies video. I'm Chris, this is Jay, and we are going to talk about algorithmically favorable topics today.
Yeah, there's algorithm week, yeah.
We're going to talk about how, if we started the hobby in 2024, things we would do differently, or how we would start the hobby today, knowing all the things we know. And, this is one of those videos where I see other YouTubers do stuff like this, and I'm like, it's
we
not
want clicks and likes or whatever.
Exactly, and to troll them a little bit
and
too.
to troll them a little bit,
yeah.
Sure. Yeah. Well, our channel, there is no frills or whatever. Is same background, same crappy background as always.
That's not a real back. That's a green screen.
It's a green screen. Yeah,
a lot of work goes into that.
There's a lot of
actually.
green screen. Yeah. I had to paste together a bunch of images to make it look authentic or whatever. So the topic this week, I guess, is it's like what would you do differently? I don't know. It seems like everyone's talking about that. I don't know. I mean, there is more stuff than ever in terms of supplies and what you can buy and start. Some things have stayed the same. Like, you still kind of, I don't know, if you're into Warhammer, you still kind of just buy a starter box or something like that, or a combat patrol or whatever. Funny enough, we've come full circle to the when we started, when there was a store full of specialist games and other different properties. I think it was actually a little bit easier 10 years ago when it was there was no Necromunda on the wall, really.
The funny thing about these discussions I always kind of laugh about is it sort of treats takes the idea that the hobby is that you should be this ultra efficient sort of automaton when you're doing the hobby. It discounts all of the silly fun enjoyment and nostalgia that you got when you started and you did things the wrong way.
That's right.
To me, that's my fun history of doing the hobby, and I wouldn't trade that for anything.
If you don't do the things the efficient way now, you're a sucker. If you don't buy the right supplies and the right brushes and the right tools, you're gonna do it wrong.
You're gonna tell 11-year-old Chris that buying that I don't know, Necromunda blister that one time was a mistake or whatever.
Yeah,
probably.
Yeah.
But hell, it was a great. It felt so good.
So yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That we've lost a bit of that pure, where you just walk up to the wall and you're like, that looks really neat, and you're fascinated by the art on the box or the book that's in your hand. And now it's very exactly. It's commercial, a retailer or consumer thing where you're you have to make everyone researches everything into a nausea, into forever and ever, and then they have to make sure they spend their dollars exactly, or they get made fun of if they bought the wrong thing. I think we've gone a little extreme there in general. And someone will probably in comments argue, well, if I buy the wrong army and it gets outdated tomorrow, and
it's almost like fear-based spending with Start. People want to know when they come in that their purchase is going to be okay. It's going to be okay.
That's right.
The thing they're buying is good. Tell me this is good. It's validate this, please, for me. Right?
Leads into our favorite question we get asked, which is is someone playing this? Is the game good?
Yeah.
Who's?
Yeah, that's right.
You got guys doing this?
That's right.
This
yeah.
one
Do people play this game? Are there people going to be around? I'm like, well, are you going to come in and play? No. But it's just good to know.
Yeah,
it's just a thing
that
I need to know about. Please tell me.
And then I'll point to the calendar. I'm like, yeah, there's people playing this tomorrow.
Whoa! Slow down. Slow down. So I'm not coming back here.
I just needed to know. Yeah.
I don't want to play in your stupid store.
And then my other question in my head is do you like that thing or not? Why are we even going? Sounds like you might be into Star Wars or Marvel or whatever. I'm like, you like the thing.
I think that for me, I really feel for those people that are starting in 2024 in that sense that people are so no longer is a place like our shop the first place people get information from.
It's not. Yeah.
People are already checking out YouTube videos. They're on Warhammer community. They're on Reddit, going through forums. Mm-hmm. They're downloading all these opinions and all this experience from other people. And that kind of bums me out in a way because, it sucks that person doesn't get to just experience everything for themselves for the first time without any, bias.
No. It's true. Yeah, they're already... Yeah, and we've seen it lots in the last little while, and I mean, some of it is a symptom of when you look at typically what happens is people enter the hobby at a certain age. It's usually your teenage years or whatever. So we're looking at those generations. These are all kids born after 2000 or whatever, and they're dialed in and hooked up to everything. And this is not me, an old man, whatever. I mean, I'm obviously on my phone and connected to the internet for most of my life or whatever. But like you just described, it's I wonder if like that's like it's just so built in now that it's like impossible to take that away or turn it off. It probably is. So then you come in and you're just like already like, oh, I heard this was, you get this so much. Like they walk in, they've never even played or built a model, and they're like looking at the wall and they'll be like, oh, these tau look really good. I heard they're bad in the game though or something. And I'm like, oh my God, like why? It shouldn't matter to you at this stage. It's just like, do you what part of the hobby do you want to do? And
yeah, they have a 43% win rate instead of a 47%.
Exactly.
It's like that. That's, I mean,
that's just nonsense.
It's just nonsense. Yeah.
Because like
it really is.
And I can tell you, like, from running events at the store, leagues, etc. Like the players that are like, there is like, I think we've described this in other videos. There's some players that are like playing the game at a whatever you want to call it, a high level or whatever. But the majority of people are not. They're just literally taking cool stuff, whatever they feel like. And that's it, and they're doing it because they like painting the models and doing the thing. Like no one's really, I mean, if you fall down that trap, I feel like you're just going to burn through the cycle that much quicker. You're just going to like collect some things that you didn't even that you felt like you were told to buy because you didn't want to buy the thing that was wrong, and then you might not enjoy building and painting it that much, and then you play a few games and it was too complicated or didn't go well, or the social interaction was poor, and then you're out of the hobby or something, and it's like. It's just churning and burning, like, because we've lost a little bit of that. Like, just do it because you like it or whatever.
Yeah, man, and that's why my advice, like, really hasn't changed over the years I've been in this business. It's always been, look, even if you're a gamer first, you're still gonna spend more time building and painting models if you're actually painting them. Mm-hmm. The vast majority of your time will still be spent doing that activity. You have to like the models you're doing that with, right? Yeah. Like, so what if they're not the best army in the game? Like, if you bought models just purely on what they do in the game, it's gonna feel kind of hollow when you're like building and painting them. You're not gonna feel that attachment to them. Yeah. It's a hobby, right? Mm-hmm. Like, you have to have that foundation, and I think it's why a lot of people drop out of the hobby and they don't like stick with it, right? Yeah. It's the same reason, like, starter sets are great. It's great to buy Leviathan. It's a fantastic box. It's $300 of goodness. Like, you're getting $1,000 of miniatures for $300, whatever. And Games Workshop dollars, of course.
Games Workshop dollars, yep.
But if you don't care about the models in the box, why is that important? Why? Right? Yeah. And like, I'd rather spend less, more inefficient money on something I'm actually gonna like I love the look of or whatever. Right? Yeah. So sometimes people just get caught up in sort of like, whether it's FOMO or. They buy the product because like it seems like it's the right thing for them, but they're not really sure. They haven't really thought about it like in like what's right for them. They've just kind of been listening to like general consensuses and that sort of thing.
Yeah, ideally on the game end, because we'll get into the hobby end in a minute. And on the game end, it should the probably ideally you have like a buddy or two that are also doing it, and you guys can just like. Do whatever it is, if it's whatever game it is, and then you all just like have little armies of that game and you like work through it together. You play some games. There's a lot of like trial and error and all that. I think if you go into it trying to master everything and like Chris said, be super efficient at everything, I think you'll just get overwhelmed and burnt out pretty quickly. And it just like it won't feel fun because it's unlike the video game thing. It's like a lot of it is still on you. To like figure out, you can like read as much as you want and watch as much as you want, but then when you sit down to play, the variables are all different. Like it's always going to be different, like where you play, what terrain they have, what the other people are like, how do you deal with the social interaction. I played a game the other day against one of my league participants, and early in the game we established he's like, do you really want to play with this 40k rule and that? And I was like, I don't care. And so we didn't. We just like treated something completely. I think we used like a version of like cover that we liked from like a previous edition. You know what I mean? And sure. and like that is like because we both played the game for so long, we were easy to just like sure whatever. But like I think if you're new to it and you strictly follow what the internet says, then you might be like, whoa, this is weird. And like I thought it was going to be. Way more set in stone or whatever, because that's what it seems like it is or whatever. So
yeah, I think you hit something on the head there. I think for me, like, and I always try to go back to in my brain to like where I was when I was that young kid, like starting the hobby, is like the thing that I think is missing a lot of the time from people's experiences when they're getting into it now is like that experimentation phase where like you're trying different things out, different types of games to play, like. whether it's like people go right to the competitive like sort of like
Yes.
match play stuff before they've even just like put models down and like, you know, just said like, oh, this is what I have. What do you have with your buddy? And like, let's just roll it out. Like, and just let's just learn and play. No, they're worried about points right away and all this stuff, right? And I think that makes me a little sad. Like when we were young, we would just like make up scenarios and have like, you know, we would just be like more like experimentative about it, be more creative.
I mean,
right?
it was a bit more of a
Just to try
sandbox.
things. Yeah.
It was a bit more of a sandbox because like Games Workshop couldn't, you know, they had their White Dwarfs and some of their published material, but it wasn't like, you had a lot. Hobby groups were more isolated and they weren't as connected, and it wasn't as easy to watch and consume all this stuff. So you kind of every little hobby group was its own little entity. So you did things your own way. And then the only time these hobby groups got together in any meaningful was at conventions or bigger tournaments. And then you got and that's where you mingled a bit. But yeah, now it's just a little too much in your face maybe. But on the hobby, like on the painting and whatever, assembly and basing, etc. Now it's kind of like it's gotten easier because there's like the know-how is better. But I also feel like we probably lost some experimentation there too. People want to come in and they want to do everything very formulaic, I guess. And so I feel like you probably have like maybe I'm curious. Maybe it'll take time because I feel like good people who paint well, like this is like a longer, like it takes time to age into like to learn all the skills. So I'm wondering if like in another like 10 years, if like, you know, the people who paint really well, if that'll go down or change because of like,
yeah, that's an interesting thing. I haven't really thought about.
People are like learning by video and thing, but they're not mastering anything. They're just doing the very formulaic, do this and this, and you get this result instead of.
You're right. It's never been easy. It's never been easier using the products and the resources available to like get a decent looking model like as a new person, which is amazing.
It's amazing.
But you also don't have to. It's almost like storing your phone numbers on your phone. Like you don't have to like almost like think about it or remember anything.
No.
So there's not as much learning that's occurring. I want to say. So like a lot of the time, we had a friend that was like this actually. It kind of paints the picture, I think, is every time he would start an army, it was like he didn't remember anything about how to paint because he was always just following sort of like a process that someone had given him.
Very specific, yeah.
And he could follow those steps amazingly, and he was a great painter. But as soon as it was on to the next thing, he just didn't know where to start.
Yeah.
And I think part of that comes from like, you know, when we started the hobby, you had like, you know, this is not the glory days. You had like 50 colors. Only
all
on the
together.
Citadel rack.
That was it. Yeah.
So like and you know some of them didn't like cover well because of the pigments. So you had to know like, oh, what's a great way to build a red up from scratch, or how do I get yellow to like what's a darker tone for yellow that I can build up slowly, and you have to learn more fundamentals of painting, like just to survive almost, like, and how to make your models look decent.
I mean, there was like famous Marine chapters or legions that like they didn't have a jar on the shelf. You had to make the color.
You had to mix the color, yeah.
So whether it was like I remember like Blood Raven's red was like I don't know, blood red and some bestial
no, dark flesh, right?
Dark flesh
mixed together 50-50.
You had to make a 50-50.
Your starting point was a 50.
Yeah, and the White Dwarf paint articles by the heavy metal people would be full of mixes. They'd be like 50 this, 30 this, 40 that, because like they didn't have in the library for you to just pick up and grab. So yeah, it was a different time. You did have to like force yourself to learn some more real color theory, and techniques and things like that, and there was all kinds of like, the other thing was like a lot of it was again based on who you knew. So I found that like if there's a crop of like people that seem to paint well, it's like some guy discovered something and shared it or whatever, or you had these I remember in that era there was a lot of like the really good painters, they kept their secrets close to their chest. They like didn't reveal anything, or if they did, it would be like if they hit some notoriety, they'd release like a book or a DVD with like paint guy. It was like it was, but you had to pay money for it. It wasn't like I remember literally buying like some guy's like DVD or something or whatever, because it was like there's nowhere else to learn this stuff.
Right.
Videos. So, and if I look at the landscape of the very high end miniature painters, like I don't know, maybe I'm naive, but they're all older people. Like they're not. I mean, they're at least my age or whatever. There's not a lot of like you know, like Ninjon's not 19 or whatever,
No,
or
no,
something
no.
like that, or whatever.
I think Calvo was a little bit on the younger
Calvo,
side.
now I will say for some of the European guys, it's maybe a little different because like the art part or like art in a culture is like way more fostered. Like
100%, yeah.
it's like if you are a gifted artist at a young age in Spain or Italy or France, there is like lots of like prestigious colleges, and you're also just surrounded by it. Like you can just walk down to the local museum and look at 400-year-old Renaissance masterpieces or whatever.
Yeah, for sure.
So yeah, I will say that. But a lot of them, like all these like ones that you see featured on Warhammer community and whatever, like these like or the people that are winning Golden Demon, like they're not young people.
No,
they're not.
no, that's true. That's true.
And maybe that's always been the case. Like I don't remember too many Golden Demon winners being super. Sometimes they were, but generally they were, a little bit more experienced. Like I think the guy Stan Hollister, the guy who won last year or the year before, like that guy's not. The guy won a Golden Demon in the '90s, and then he won one.
The quality is literally growing up with them, right?
Yeah,
like they've gotten better. These guys as they've aged as well, and they're still like at the top of the game.
Bit of a super tangent on that, but I think it's poignant that like that's another thing. If you don't try and do the trial and error thing, a little bit here and there, and you're just too formulaic, then you will plateau a lot. And now that might be your goal. Your goal might be to just like, I just want to have like pretty decent looking armies finished rather quickly. It's great. If your goal is to like master painting, then you need to be a little more experimental. Try different products and see which ones you like.
But you'll even be a more efficient like painter. Like even if you want to just do like quick painting and have your stuff look decent, mixing in some of that experimentation will make you quicker. It'll make you smarter about it. You'll know why you're using the colors you're using and that sort of stuff. That stuff just can only help you as you even if your goal is to be person A who just wants to have decent looking stuff finished quickly, right? So don't ever discount that stuff. It's good to.
Yeah. So. To go back to the original topic, because I don't think we gave anyone what they wanted or whatever, which was like...
Isn't that the goal?
Yeah.
Bait them in with a topic and then talk about nothing for
things that we wish we knew. I don't know, like nothing real. I mean, not nothing, but I guess like I would say, yeah, sure. I wish I had some of the paints and brushes available today that I had then. But would I kind of trade it in? Not really. Like, I don't know. It was good. It was fun. Learned some cool things. Got the, I mean, I would say probably better fundamentals because of that. And yeah, it was just like a rewarding lifelong hobby experience because it was about tinkering and trying stuff. So, which is, I think, any hobby should be like that. It's supposed to be that, like, remember when this was this and this was hard and now it's not, and whatever. So yeah.
I think I agree with that. Hopefully you enjoyed that ramble video. It was extra rambly today.
That's super ramble.
If you like these type of videos, you can check out our library. We do these like sit and talks every week, twice a week. And if you really like it, you can like and subscribe. That helps us out a lot. And we have a Patreon set up there where we're trying to build up our infrastructure and start to do some fancier, nicer videos. We'll do sit and talks in front of a green screen with a better camera.
Maybe. Yeah.
Until next time, guys, take care. Thanks a lot. Cheers.
Bye.